we're looking down the line at AI, automation, and you're going, are we not just going to make people, millions of jobs obsolete? Is that not the danger here as well?
I wrote a book about it.
You did?
You did.
Fully Automated Luxury Communism. I think, and this is why, I use the C word.
Yeah.
And this is why I use the C word, because I think, and the trajectory here is 50 or 100 years. Realistically, we're looking at a situation when basically every human task can be automated. I think within 50 to 100 years. I think that's quite likely, right?
Except podcasts.
Except podcasts. And at which point, like you say, that creates massive dysfunctions in a bunch of ways. So, for instance, if you have workers who don't have cash capital to buy goods and services, which are made more productively than ever before because you have so much automation, then you have a crisis of what's called crisis of demand or underconsumption, which is you don't have people who can buy all the goods and services being made. You have a problem. Another issue is that the remaining jobs that are there and which are captured by uniquely human sort of characteristics, those are paid better and better and better because you can't automate Cristiano Ronaldo or a great TV or podcasters. You can't automate those guys, right? For now. And so what that means is that automation compresses jobs like, we've seen it in manufacturing for decades, but I think it's going to come for driving in a decade or two. And then basically it's going to come for everything. And so I think as a society, we have a bunch of problems there. Like I say, crisis of demand. And if we think inequality is bad now, my God, it's going to be even worse in 30, 40, 50 years' time.
And I would also add, Aaron, a crisis of meaning. Because jobs bring dignity, and they bring an identity, and they bring structure.
Well, that's why I use this, and that's why I use the C word, because this is a profound challenge to capitalism. It's a profound challenge to capitalism. And I think we need to be honest about that. Because, The Economist did a great line about this, I think in 2013. They said, what happens when capital becomes labour? Which is to say, there is no distinction between capital and labour once you can automate pretty much everything. And that, we might not see it. I think we probably will. Our children will see it. And so what's the sort of political economic settlement when that happens? It doesn't look like capitalism. It doesn't look like capitalism as we know it. So that's why I use the C word.
No, but
controversial way.
The thing is, I don't think, I don't know about Francis, I certainly don't disagree that in a world where no one has to work, it sort of doesn't make sense that the people who historically have held the capital now own everything and no one else has anything. In a world where no one needs to work and everything's done by robots, a system of distributing resources fairly equally in that world is great, actually, I think. I'm sure there's counter-arguments to that I probably haven't considered, but I'm open to that. But what Francis was asking was something else, which is in the interim, because we're all going to live in that interim 100 years, right? There's quite a lot of human lives in that. When you raise wages, what you are doing is you're incentivizing those jobs out of existence.
Yeah.
Right? And so isn't there a counterproductive element to some of those drives for higher wages in certain industries?
Yes, there's a guy, he just died actually, a guy called Mario Tronti. He was a Marxist Italian sort of thinker. And he said exactly this. So historically, people have always thought innovation is driven by capitalists, right? Great levels of automation, new innovations to create things more productively. He says, no, it's created by workers in struggle. Them struggling for better work, better paying conditions, more money is the catalyst for better innovation, because that leads to like the things
you create incentives.
Yeah. This is literally like page 1 or 2 of the Wealth of Nations, right? So I think again, even if you're not on the left, if you want a high productivity, high performance economy, there's the argument for higher wages, because you're going to create incentives for businesses to increase productivity, use more fixed capital.
Hold on, you care about the working people. You want to automate their jobs out of existence.
No. But if you have working class representation, you have labour organisations, and the state is on their side, they can be reallocated to other parts of the labour market. They can be retrained, or you can say, look,
the evidence is very poor on people being retrained.
No, I agree with you. Well, in an ageing population, we probably will need to retrain some people to help, with regards to elderly care work, for instance. I don't mean like retrain, design an app. That's bullshit. I agree with you there. But on things like, I mean really demographic aging. So I think in the US, over 50% of the sort of the jobs which are growing significantly are in relation to health and elderly care services, because we're getting older as a society. We're having fewer babies and people are living longer, generally speaking. So I suppose the quick answer is, in the interim, what do we do? I think there's a bunch of challenges in the 21st century that we need to take head on in, to borrow a phrase from Keir Starmer, a mission-oriented sense. I agree with that. I think one is demographic ageing. I think another is the housing crisis. And I think a third is climate change. Now, people might be watching this going, oh, climate change, look at the weather outside. Globally speaking, it's a huge challenge, particularly for sort of countries to our south. They're going to really struggle. And I think, we're going to have to gear up to a world which looks very different to today. So those will be what I say. We need to use the dividend of technological change and human genius to address those challenges in the interim, because like you say, full automation is decades away.